Right, guys, it is the evening before the koi show. So the National Koi Show is tomorrow. It's currently about 8 p.m. Just had a long day in work, but I'm hoping all my prep is going to pay off. So what I did do, I learned by one of my mistakes last year, and I've done a print off of all my fish I'm taking. Now there's one there that's marked that says Shiro 54 cm. That fish is being swapped out because the Sankey from NMD that I was going to take to the show has got a little bit of a mark on his head, so that's going to be a visual demerit. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking that fish out and I'm swapping it with another Shiro, which is in a very good size for the category. It's my Yagenji 54 cm Shiro, which I think is going to go in size 5, or is it, right? So that actually stands a really good chance, a lot more of a chance than the NMD Sankey that's got a little tiny, it's hardly anything, it's just me being really, really finicky, but I'll just sit on it ready for the Newark show. So what I've done is I've printed out a little drop sheet of all the fish I'm taking. I'm taking 17 fish. Now, this is purely because when I went to the Newark show, I actually forgot to take a fish. Now, I didn't leave it on the M4, I left it in the pond. And it wasn't only a shame, it was quite embarrassing. So, oh my days, some of those koi are looking very good. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to go to the garage, double check the boxes are ready. I've got some t-shirts that I'm going to take, so I'm going to roll those up into their sizes. And I am really gutted that my NMD Sankey has got that little mark on its head. What a shame. What an absolute shame, but there we are. It's going to be in prime condition, ready for the Newark show, and that's probably going to be the koi in the vat in Newark, to be honest. So hey ho, is what it is. Livestock at the end of the day. But that's the first problem I've ever had with a fish. It was a very strange phenomenon. If you go back and look, I had a bit of mucus on the head for some reason, but that'll come back when it's on the old colour again. Love it. So what we're going to do now is double check. I'm going to tick off these. I'm going to decide what boxes these go in together, because some of the small fish are going to go in one box, and then a couple of the medium-sized fish will go in together, and we'll see what goes on. Apart from that, I'm quite excited, guys. Filled up the car with juice. Actually bought myself a crate of Heineken to give out to people. I might have one myself as well. Looking forward to burgers. Liam's not working this year, but he's going to try to get there next year. However, Liam will be there on Sunday, so I am looking forward to that. So anyway, next time you see me, it's going to be tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. where we will be bagging these beasts up, transporting them to the showground. I was going to say Newark then, to the showground by Coventry, and we'll go from there. So very excited. Nerves are starting to kick in. Not really, but like, I'm excited more than anything. So I'll see you guys tomorrow at 5 p.m. Better set my alarm. She lied. I will show you this last bit of prep. So got a few t-shirts that I'm going to fold up later on, and these are the boxes I'm going to be taking to the show. So we've got 4 of these boxes, which fits sort of in my back of my truck very well. And then this longer one will probably have 2 bags in it, and that'll sit on the back of my seat. And then also what I'm going to be doing is taking my oxygen with me in case of any problems, spare bags, yeah, and I think that's all I need. But I will go through a checklist later on, but I'm just prepping everything tonight, so when I wake up tomorrow morning, it is plain sailing. What I've also done is like swept up the floor. I've actually jet washed these out, and I've actually disinfected them a little bit with some spray. So if any of the bags break and the water actually is contained with these boxes, there's no sort of like nasty bacteria or dirty stuff in there, which there wouldn't have been anyway. But I was using these to store some of my pipe fittings. So you never know. Best to be safe than sorry. So yeah, and then when I come back, I'm gonna get working on that. But quick question, a quick one. When I come back on Monday, I am going to Bike Park Wales on this beast with my brother-in-law, so I'm really looking forward. Better plug this in to get the last little bit of charge on it. So I'll take that up to the house now. It's part of my prep. Obviously, good old English weather. It's absolutely peeing down outside. So what I'm going to do is take some advice from the breeders. I'm going to put me waders on and get the fish in the boxes now. It's 5 minutes past 5 in the morning. Just making myself a cup of tea. And get this show on the road, guys. Guys, there's all my koi bagged. In hindsight, I would have taken maybe one, maybe out of each one. I don't know, maybe I could have used another bag there, but I don't want to disturb them again now. They're all bagged, they're all good to go. Oh, that was a right sweat on. Good old Hobby World. This is a sponsored video by Hobby World. It's not really, but anyway, right, let's get everything sorted out. I've put the heater on. I've put the heater on like I just said. I'm not going to put the auto feeder on yet because the auto feeder is set to that maximum feed and there's only a few fish in there. So I might chuck a handful of feed in there now just to give them a snack and pull the truck around, get these in, get a little bit of my merch in, and it's time to get on the road like a couple of gypsies. Right, I'll see you in the car, guys. Here we are then, guys. Put a bit of food in for the fish and then straight on it. Pond looks a bit sorry for itself, to be honest. Minus 17 koi. But anyway, those are that two-step. That might come out in Newark. So, right, guys. After an extremely wet bagging session, if it's not raining, it ain't training. We're on our way to Newark. So I've got 4 boxes in the back of the flatbed. I got a big long box in the back here. I've actually got a space for another bag, so I should have actually, they're not crowded by any means, but I could have maybe changed 1 or 2 of the fish in the bag, but it is what it is. I'm not going to take them back out now. That's just an extra bit of stress. So I'm dying. So what we're going to do now is head off to Newark via Starbucks. I got 2 hours and 56 minutes to get up to the National, Coventry. I've got 2 hours and 56 minutes to get up there, and I'm definitely going to be accompanied by a cappuccino. See you up there. So excited. Right then, guys, currently 3 miles away from the National Koi Show location. The journey up has been fantastic. I've been accompanied by Belinda Carlisle and Fleetwood Mac, believe it or not. Anyway, apart from that, very excited. The fish have only been in the bag now for 3 hours. I had to stop halfway to have a pony and trap and get a coffee. But that is human nature for you. Apart from that, everything was fantastic. And I'll get back to you in a minute when we get into the venue and start floating the koi. I am very excited, and for any of you that want to know, I am VAT number 21. I'm watching him, look, walking around like a dog with 2 dicks. And the good news is I get 2, 1 for me and 1 for someone else, so I reckon I can get my grinder date in here for free tomorrow. Right, here we are. We've got the good, the bad, and the ugly. No, I'm only joking. It's probably the other way around. But the fish managed to get you absolutely brilliant, to be honest. They are probably the happiest fish I've seen so far in National. They're swimming around like a good one. So that's a testimony to the quality of the water we've got at the minute with the guys from the BKKS working so hard. So yeah, really good. Old Joe Boy's on his camera, look. So he's come to meet me for the night. He's my Tinder date, grinder date. So what we're going to do now is have a little walk around. And to be honest, guys, this is my favourite day of the show because there's no one here, and you just walk around, mooch around, have a look at the fish, and just enjoy. And it's nice to catch up with everyone and to talk to everyone. And this is what I was saying on my last video. if you actually get to enter a koi show as a exhibitor, you actually get to come behind the scenes and see how everything's made, and talk to like really you know, experienced hobbyists and dealers and all that kind of stuff. And you can also have a mooch around the fish and always pick the best toes eye before everyone else on a Saturday. Innit, Joe? Look at your beard. You are gorgeous. So I've just picked up my grinder date, and yeah, this is our little place for the night. So this is like a little Airbnb that my mate Steve has booked. So Joe's staying here tonight, and then Steve and Crafty has come in tomorrow. Unfortunately, this time I'm not sleeping with Crafty, because one of these is going to be my soul bed and Crafty is going to sleep with Steve. Yeah, so this is it. Lovely little place. I like it. I like it. It's even got dinosaurs. Yeah, boy. And a little bit of parking. I'm not looking forward to reversing my car out of that, though. It's quite tight. But anyway, what a lovely little place. Good old Steve. Produced the goods again. We've even got... Oh, wow. What a lovely shower. Fantastico. Right, Joe, you said the taxi was coming. I'm not going to see James Colley in a tractor. Are you sure it was Uber?
I mean, he's in the control and sitting here.
Al, say it again.
It was the best taxi ride with this gentleman.
I love you, Al. Drive safe, my friend.
Oh, well, good night, guys. Thank you so much.
See you later, mate.
Thank you.
Oh, midnight bacon butties. Right, me and Steve are just on the way to my favourite hangout, which is the Bull. So this is where I stayed last year on the Friday night, and I experienced the food here, and we ate here yesterday, and I'm definitely going to come back here again tonight to eat again before we meet everyone in the bar to have another chinwag. Here we are, guys. So unfortunately I didn't do much filming yesterday at all. I was so busy running around talking to everyone. It's really nice to catch up with just people I haven't met before, but that have commented on the channel, and also lovely bit of company last night as well, having some food and having a bit of a chat with hobbyists and dealers and all that kind of stuff. So today I'm on the way to the Bull's Head to have some breakfast with a couple of friends, and from there we'll turn up at the venue, and well, we'll see what's occurring. So today's a new day. I think probably today might well be busier than yesterday, because I think in general most people do get the Sunday off more than the Saturday off, if you know what I mean. So and obviously there's going to be a whole new bunch of friends turn up, which is fantastic. So send you a picture of my breakfast in a minute. I'm not going to go too crazy today, but I'll have something, maybe an eggs Benedict or something posh like that. I don't know. But anyway, see you in a minute, guys. Lovely. Steve's gone for the old council house version of mine.
Happy?
Yeah, I'm just showing Uncle Takano his fish. Like magic, we're home. I do feel tired, mind. The waders I took off just before the show. It's quite sad it's over, isn't it, for another year. What a fantastic show, but I'll talk more about it a little bit in a minute when we get the fish in. Let's have a little look at the pond. Let's see what temperature we're at. So there's the fish that's left. Could have taken quite a few of those for the show, to be honest, but hey ho. And the pond is at 24 degrees. If you can see there, so we're at 24 degrees. So fish are going to be extremely happy to get back in there, I'm sure. Right, so here we are then, guys, just unbagging the fish at the moment, putting them there, just have a little bit of an inspection for my own peace of mind, looking at their fins, just monitoring how the fish genuinely are. And they look alright. Obviously the shear is a bit pink, so we'll get her back in now. Lovely. So here's the Minimagoshki, guys. Actually done really well in the show. Not quite sure where it won. I'll go through it later on. But when it was in the vat this afternoon, I noticed down one side a couple of raised scales just underneath the koi there. So unfortunately for her, before she goes in, she's grabbing a PP bath. Not doing it to everyone, but that one's certainly having one, and obviously I'll monitor it. So it's obviously happened over this weekend, so we'll sort that out now. So there we are then, guys. This is part of the hobby, realistically. Because the fish is out, I'm extremely tired, I'm not going to lie. The last thing I want to be doing is a PP bath, but sometimes you have to do these things. You can't really wait. There's no point me putting the fish back, settling her back in, and then taking her back out after I realise actually I should have done a PP bath. So get her in there. She's stressed already because she's been to a show and she's been shipped all the way back. So I may as well just go the full 10 yards and smash this in here really quick, back in the pond. But this is the only fish really that needs it. Yeah, there we are. Here's what it is. There we are. So while that's going on, there's my little kawakus. So this one done extremely well. The Samaritan done really, really well. Keeps didn't get any, but Mr. Tate said sit on that for another year, don't get rid of it. And unfortunately the Hoshikin didn't do very well this year. Hey ho, sometimes they do good, sometimes they don't do very good, but there we are. I'm still keeping hold of that because I do love that fish. So let's just get these back in now as well. I'm happy to be home, but I'm gutted the show is over for one more year. What an absolutely fantastic event. Yeah, really buzzing. Again, I'll show you in a minute. I've been really blessed with being lucky and conditioning the fish probably the right way from advice. And yeah, come away with another couple of awards. No slices or loaves, but still on the crumbs. But I'll still keep going because one day I'll get a slice of bread rather than a little crumb or a corner of crust. But I'm happy. It's like that's how 50 Cent got rich, didn't he? He'd always take the 50 cents because they all add up one day to make a loaf. Something like that, isn't it? Anyway, but again, I want to thank so much the BKKS for putting on a great show. The water quality was really, really good. They did have a bit of a nightmare with like a new little system they were trying out. Didn't work, but they rectified that straight away. The fish were really happy in the vat this year, to be honest. One of the small Maritons was a little bit clamped up this morning. Well, towards the end of Sunday, which is now. However, the only size 1 fish I had in the vat, so I guess the smaller they are, probably the more sulky they are, if you know what I mean. Water temperature was a lot colder than I thought it was going to be. When I got up there, I was really blessed that I dropped this down to 18 degrees because when I got up there, way too early. But I wanted to go up there to see if anybody needed a hand and all that kind of stuff. I ended up just having a whale of a time walking around talking to everyone. So the intentions were there, but the moment got the better of me and I ended up walking around. But if they did need help and they asked me, I would have definitely done it. Yeah, water temperature when I got up there about 10 o'clock, I think it was, 10:30 in the morning, was about 16.5 degrees. I think it peaked at about 18, 19 degrees. A bit drizzly on the Friday. All the punters wasn't there, but everyone that was exhibiting a bit of a drizzly day on Friday. But it wasn't the end of the world because the atmosphere was pretty hot, so it was good. The Saturday was really good. However, the Saturday was really good. The weather was quite nice, a little bit of a breeze, sunny spells, and I really liked it. And I walked around, and by God, I must have talked to 1,000 people if I talked to one. It was fantastic. At one point, I thought I was going to have to put a colostomy bag on because I couldn't get to the toilet. However, I love talking to people. It's fantastic. And thanks for everyone that came up to say hello and ask me questions. It was amazing. However, on the Saturday, I was a little bit rough, and it wasn't my fault. You can blame the Newark crew for that. Ended up going to Birmingham, and I really didn't want to, and this is the truth, but kind of this ended up happening. And it wasn't my fault, it was this guy's fault. However, first time I've been out for a long time, that was, to be honest, and I am not a very good drinker. Not a very good session drinker. I do like a glass of wine or a beer. However, yeah, not a very good session drinker. But I did behave this time, and I was pleased with myself. So, the Saturday was fantastic. The Sunday was absolutely brilliant as well. Again, when you exhibit, you get to hang out with all the cool kids, all right? And that ain't me. It's all the cool kids. You know who you are. And we had a great time networking, talking about fish. Absolutely fantastic. Currently, I woke up on a Friday after only half a dozen eyeballs. Whiskey with soda water and loads of ice. Very nice little drink, to be honest. And I woke up lovely, apart from a bit of lack of sleep, because my mate Steve, who I was sharing like a bedroom with, snores like an absolute wildebeest. So I will not be sleeping in the same room as that guy again next year. Steve, you ain't having any more of my fish if you keep snoring like that. And then he had the audacity to blame me that I snore as well. I didn't hear myself snore. All I heard was Stephen snoring. But anyway, what did I buy? What did I buy in the show? Not a lot, but I bought those. How cool is that? Best £20 I spent all weekend. And the reason I didn't buy a load of stuff, because thank you James Colley and Kyle and everyone that I went out with, because Friday night cost me an absolute bomb. So that's all I could afford the next day. Couldn't even get a fluke treatment. Not that I need it. But anyway, their class. Done okay on the show scene. Didn't do a lot of filming. Not really my fault. I get a bit embarrassed filming when there's loads of people. And I certainly don't like to be in front of anyone else's camera. I'm actually quite shy, to be honest. Unless I've had an eyeball or two, and then I just cut some shapes on the dance floor like, I don't know, an enraged ABBA fan. Oh, sticky. So, what did we get? These were stuck on my vats. So, going again to my last video, how you enter a koi show, bits and bobs. That video went down great. Loads of people have said they're going to show next year, and I'm going to hold you to that, because if you don't start showing, the koi business and the koi hobby will just stay static and stay as big as it is, which is still amazing, but it would be nice to grow it, wouldn't it? So don't be silly, pick up the phone and book a VAT for next year. They don't go live for a while, but like, yeah. And I'll tell the BKKS, don't just put the 60 VATs on. I said that you've got to put 70 or 80 on to make sure there's enough room for every one of you guys that want to compete, because they should do. So yeah, what happens is you bench your koi. They had a bit of a nightmare with my koi, to be honest. Not my koi per se, but the system. I told you on the last video that the first time I done the online benching, it was a little bit awkward. It is a little bit awkward, do you know what I mean? And I don't think it's just awkward. Well, this is the proof. I said I'm not very good at booking things in and doing stuff on the internet. Well, it shows that it actually isn't just me, because even the BKKS had to do it not once, not twice, but 3 times. So I've got really good pictures because they were all taken by them. But every time they were trying to add a fish on or something, it was clearing off. So it was just like a little bit of a gremlin or a glitch in their system. But we got there in the end. So what happened? So you wake up on the Sunday, hopefully without a hangover, which I actually did, but lack of sleep because of snoring clogs. And what happens is, you walk to your vat really sheepish. Now, you don't go to these things, how can I put this now? You don't go to these things expecting to win, because that's not how life works. You go to these things to have fun and to show your koi off and just to make a weekend of it. And if you do win something, it's a massive bonus and it's the best feeling in the world. I didn't expect to win anything. However, I came away with a couple of awards. Really cool. And I'm really happy. And very surprising what wins and what doesn't win. Yeah, really, really cool. So let's go through it. So my mini Magoshki, which was in size 4, this is the one that's had a couple of raised scales. Now this is why I know that those scales have just popped up since yesterday. Because when I bowled this up to go to the show and inspected it, it was clean as a whistle. When the judges, international judges, judged this fish yesterday, it obviously was clean as a whistle. If those scales had moved anywhere out of place, it wouldn't have come 3rd in size and class. And there were some fantastic fish in the show. So I'm really proud of my mini Magoshki. Very good. But this has still got a lot of development to do. So the other Goshkis that came 1st and 2nd and beat this was a lot more finished, okay? But watch out for next year, because when that Sumi comes up from the tail and works forward and gives it a little dark nose as well, I got a funny feeling that's going to be, I don't want to say unbeatable, but quite impressive. So I'm looking forward to that. What else did we get? So we got a 1st in size and class with a fish that I'm quite surprised about. It's my Coda Ginnerin Goshki, which has got a fantastic body on it. And I know that's female because one of the fish in there were being, we've got some horniness going on. I'm going to wake up tomorrow now with a load of frog spawn in there. That's the problem with taking your fish and jumping up and down heats in vats, especially those vats in the national. They're so thin, and the drop in temperature through the night back into the morning really sends these things absolutely mental. Chip from old Rastakoi had 3 amazing Kwakus. I can't remember what size they were, like 80, 90 cm. Fantastic. That in the morning, 3 of them spawning. Wasn't a male in sight. Yeah, so these things obviously were just going through the motions of spawning without a male there. So Chip done really well, and I was tempted to take a scoop of his water back just to see if I can get some spawnage on the go. Stick it in my, I could have stick them in my aquascape, but there was no point because there was no males in there to fertilize the old eggs. Anyway, so yeah, so there's probably going to be some action in the pond. Right, so that, yeah, so there we are. So that's the Koromo 1st in size and class, which is really good. I was really pleased with that. That's a really good result. We had one of the Kwaku from my grow on. I decided to take that one, and that one came 3rd in size and class in Kwaku size 2. Now, that's quite a difficult category. Every man and his dog would have a Kwaku in that size in that national, pretty much. So for a fish to be able to place anywhere 1st, 2nd or 3rd in that class, it's class. So that's really good. So that's one of my fish. Now this is proof in the pudding. That one, okay, and we've got my Marathon, which was in size 1. That's come 3rd as well. Now these fish on the whole really cost me 2pence for the quality they are. Now these compete in the National Koi Show, and I've grown them in a 500-gallon pond, you know, from 10 cm to, you know, between 25 and 34 cm. So amazing result there. Really, really happy. What else did we get? Excellent. Really, really happy. So my Tucano Mud Pond event fish that Koi Wholesale and myself and exclusively hosted, that had a 3rd, right, in size 2 Sankey. Very hard category again. Every man and his dog, and Sankeys at the moment are really fashionable, okay? So that's a really, really prestigious, you know, positioning to come at that, you know, size and variety. So that's really good, and I feel very happy for Mr. Tucano. I sent him a video of that, and he went, "Haka chaka wee," and he sent me a couple of videos of his new fry that he's selecting through right now, which I should be harvesting when I go over to his in October. So that's really exciting. And then again, another really hard category. We've got a third in size 4 Sankey here. Okay, that's my, again, guys, these aren't expensive fish. That's Carno fish, $4.95. But it would have been cheaper, but if you remember, it was an event. So, you know, that was the food and like the drinks and all was included. But that is not an expensive fish. But I'm growing it to become an expensive fish. And that's the whole thing about this hobby. It's doing the whole life cycle, growing it, conditioning it, and taking it to the show. Anyone can buy a fish a week before and do it because someone else does it for you, which is, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do, but it's not my cup of tea. Another good one. First in size and class. This is a hilarious one. Oh, so no, sorry, going back to the mud pond. Going back to the mud pond event, so that is a Sankey that I got from the Koi Wholesale mud pond event, $4.95, or was it $5.95? Even if it was $5.95, it's come third in size 4 Sankey at the National Koi Show. That's not an expensive fish, guys. Like, you've just got to be diligent at what you're doing and try to pick correctly, and that's what you can do. Another amazing one, right? This is all proof in the pudding now. Remember the old koi auctions with Ulrike Stoddard and Chris with the big caterpillar eyebrows? He's gonna kill me for that, right? So I seen about 6 months ago, I seen a Ginnerin Coda Shiro. No, Showa, right? I looked at it and I thought to myself, yeah, I like that. And I sat down when people were bidding on it and it went really, really quiet. And it was like pathetically cheap. And I thought to myself, I'll bid 100 quid. I'll have to go back to see what it went for. 120 quid maybe, something like that, right? 120 quid. Now this is the truth, I'm going to tell you something in a minute, right? First in size and class, size 2 Showa. That is a hard class. And let me tell you something now as well. Mr. Alan Tate, he's actually a bit of a friend of mine now. He's got a finger missing. Check it out next time you see him. It looks like a little worm, witchetty grub. So Alan obviously is the head judge there, but he doesn't actually judge. He's sort of like the head chef that just makes sure the sous chef and everything does things properly, right? So that came really highly placed, okay? But Alan was talking, because he gave me some information about my koi in the vat, which is always really, you know, something that everyone should do. Bring someone over and just go, come on, then, let's talk about this. He actually benched my, can you remember I said it got benched 3 times? So Alan had to come over, because obviously he's the head chef, and his little frontline troops was getting things wrong, so he had to step in. He benched that fish, and he seen it, and it made his stump rise, okay? Sorry, Alan. It made, yeah, he seen that, and he told me after the show, he goes, that would have been my baby champion. So that was his first choice for baby champion, okay? The baby champion that did win baby champion was Sublime anyway. It was a lovely shower, absolutely fantastic. But that shows that, you know, just do a little bit of research and follow your gut, and sometimes things can happen. So what else did we get? So we'll go to the top here. Of course, obviously, my NND Shiro, first in size, right? Obviously, it's like lovely. Do you know what I mean? It's just got so much potential. And it's in size 4, so size 4 is 45 to 55 cm. That fish is 50 cm. I was looking and I was talking to the chap who had the Shiro that came second in the same category. And it was a very, very strong Shiro. The body, the pattern, the skin, everything was really good. And it was just in size, so it was like 54 cm. So that means a lot, really. It should really something bigger should power through, but the quality of that thing just shone through. Do you know what I mean? So really, really good. Now that fish, I'm looking forward to take to Newark, because that is going to be 52 maybe. But next year, I'm hoping next year is going to be in size 5 in the upper section of the category. But even if it's not, that fish actually gives me a lot of confidence, as long as I can husband it right and still make it progress. So again, good old fish this. I think it's I can't remember what farm my little Deutsch Shiro is from, right? It always comes away, every single show has come away with something. And I think it was first in Newark or first in the National last year, because it only just got into size. It was 15 cm. It's come third here, okay? But next year it might come first. Next year it might not come anywhere. You don't know. Year by year these things change. And pretty cool, they chucked in like a new weird award to the National, just to keep people on their toes, the Judges Merit Award. And that went to my Ginnerin Hiyatsuri from Coda. I think it's Coda, right? Coda or Hiroi, one of the two. And yeah, lovely little award. I like it. Anything is better than nothing sometimes, but I like that. And surprisingly, the big Ginnerin Goshki, okay, it's done there twice, but the big Ginnerin Goshki didn't place anywhere this year. The skin quality is really good on this. However, the volume is totally lacking because it's a male fish, but the quality of the Ginnerin and the body structure on that is absolutely fantastic. It's just, I just cannot get the volume on it. But these fish don't grow very, very big, okay, because it's the Ginnerin factor and the Goshki bloodline never makes a massive fish. Now that's size 4. So it's 45, 55, I think it's 50, 51 cm, right? So when that stops growing in length and it puts all its calories into packing on some muscle, that's why I'm holding on to that fish. Yeah, so, sorry, a mate popped in to say hello. Check how I am. So yeah, really cool. I haven't opened these yet, but there's all the little awards, which is cool. Keep that along with that. And yeah, we've got a load of rosettes again. So really cool. Couldn't be happier, guys. So like I said, guys, you've got to get on this train. So the next thing that happens is not pre-show prep, it's post-show prep. Check each fish when I put them back in. Try to eliminate as much stress as I can on the ride home. Spotted those raised scales. Given the Minamagoshki a PP bath. I'll just monitor that now and I'll leave it in the pond. Keep an eye on it. Now the temperature's raised up a little bit. They're back on the feed. We're still on 0.3 salt. That's to eliminate something. pH is good. KH is good. Can't do anything else for them. Just leave them alone now. And keep it. Bit of a flash then, you see. I just got to keep an eye on them now because of this temperature change. I might give them, I'll monitor if I see much more flash in the next few days. I'll give them a scrape, do a mucus biopsy, have a little peek around on my amazing microscope, the Bezier, and just watch them. In fact, my drum is an amazing place to observe the koi. When I walk down the stairs, they see me. But if I go and sit on my stainless steel drum, it's brilliant because I can just observe from the top and just look at basically the pattern of life. And yeah, just study the koi, but brilliant, no split fins. I'm a bit upset with those 3 raised scales, mind. However, these things happen. But no, those actually, yeah, there is. We've got one tiny little split in the front ray of the Hiroi Ginnerin Showa. However, that was bag damage. And when you take koi to a show and it damages itself from the transportation, bagging and debagging process, you have got a time when benching to approach one of the judges or the benching team and go, listen, that is a mark from the transportation, and what they will do is they won't demerit the koi for that actual problem. Now obviously if it's got a ripped fin, they're not stupid, they can see if it's been ripped 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, or it's knitting back together. They can see that. But if it's a rip and it's fresh, that demerit is marked on the fish, is little profile. So it's not part of the judging process. They overlook it, you know. But don't try to pull the wool over their eyes, because they ain't stupid. Anyway guys, I've got to apologise again because there really wasn't a lot of footage from the show because it was so busy, and I love talking to people so much that you can see the balance isn't quite right. They're jumping around a little bit, so let's get this curtain over and go to bed because I don't want to see what's going to happen tonight. I think we're going to have a spawn.